my channel. It's Life with B. I'm Bianca and this is Isaiah. Say hi. Someone's a little sleepy. Before this video gets started, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. So as you can see from the title below, get the camera. As you can see from the title below, this is breastfeeding 101. So breastfeeding tips to all the first-time mothers, women that plans on breastfeeding. So it's just a few things that I'd like to, a few things that I'd like to discuss. This was one of my most asked questions when it came to the comments on YouTube. So I definitely wanted to fulfill that and get as much information out there as I can. So rule number one, one of the most important things that I feel like with any upcoming breastfeeding mother while they're pregnant, I feel like the best thing you can do is get informed. Do your research, find out, the different steps. There's no one way that you can find out everything in one article or one video. So I feel like the best thing you can do is to do your own research. I actually took some parenting classes before, so I can be a little more informed of breastfeeding, because it's not all one step. There's plenty of steps when it comes to breastfeeding. Every baby's different. You can even have multiple babies and every experience be different. So I feel like number one is to get yourself a little more informed, do your research, watch videos, maybe consult of other breastfeeding mothers or lactation consultants, just to get yourself informed. But I feel like that's mostly important before the baby arrives, because once the baby arrives, it can get a little difficult. Number two, this is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, things to know if you plan on breastfeeding, is having the proper support system with you. I know it sounds crazy, but that can really make or break your breastfeeding experience, because without the proper support, it can get really difficult. My experience when I first had Isaiah, went in full force knowing, well, I plan on breastfeeding, I'm gonna be so amazing at the beginning, I'm gonna rule this breastfeed, I'm gonna take control, I know I'm gonna succeed. But it's not always like that. It is very difficult in the beginning. First of all, for first-time breastfeeding parents or first-time mothers in general, when you have a new baby, you have to realize they're coming to this world. You're getting to know a new human. They're getting to know you. So you guys have to connect on a very special, intimate level, whether it be skin to skin or when it being the first time you breastfeed. I didn't have the ideal birth, but luckily I was able to breastfeed. It was difficult, let me tell you. It was one point where he didn't eat for, I believe it was 6 hours after giving birth. And I was terrified, I was scared, I was stressing out. But luckily I had my oldest sister and my fiance with me, and they just kept me motivated. They alerted me that I can do. I just have to, keep the faith and know that I'm doing the best that I can possibly do for my baby. And in the beginning, it can be tough because you think that you're not producing enough, because I'm not sure if you are aware, but the first couple of days before your mature milk forms, it's colostrum. So it's very, very little milk that comes out, but that's all your baby needs. I believe the babies, when they're first born, it's about the size of a marble. So I don't know if you see how big or small this is. So they really don't need that much food, and then obviously their stomach starts to grow. There's different diagrams that show the size of baby's stomach when they're first born. So you may think you're not giving your baby enough, but you are. So I feel like you have to keep going. Don't give up. When it's your first time, it's very stressful. But once the baby finally gets to latch, you guys learn your process, and it's such a beautiful experience. But also with that, I think if you do have the opportunity, see a lactation consultant, because that really helped me. I learned different angles, different ways to breastfeed, and just having that person there, that support person, where they're actually, educated on it, it definitely helps a lot. So number three, I feel like learning the best positions to breastfeed is also very important, because you also want to be comfortable, right? You don't want to be uncomfortable while you're breastfeeding. So in the beginning, when the baby is very small, very new, they typically, if you do have a luxury of seeing a lactation consultant or don't, you can watch this video. Quickly have them do a football hold. So what you'll do, this is my little prop over here, Isaiah. But he's a lot bigger now, so this will obviously be for a new baby. Can I use you, please? Just for this? So you'll hold the baby like this with one arm behind his head and neck to be able to support it, and they're just able to eat just like this. So the other hand is free. And for all you C-section mothers, cesarean mothers, it's best to have a boppy underneath to make it a little more comfortable for you. So this is one of the best positions, especially for cesarean mothers. So there's obviously the cradle hold. So you feed the baby like this, and they immediately latch on. You obviously have support of their neck and their body, so they're able to eat like this as well. My top favorite one is sideline. So typically Isaiah would be laying down next to me. So we're laying side by side, my breast face his face, and he's able to eat. And the best part is I'm hands-free. So you just pop your boob into the baby's mouth and they just eat. And don't worry about suffocating, because if a baby can suck, they can breathe. So once the baby is done feeding, they will unlatch themselves. Right, Isaiah? That's our favorite position. That's our favorite position. Yes, that's my favorite position because I love being hands-free. It's a great way to take a nap, honestly, because trust me, your baby will be safe. Typically, mom said take naps. Not really, the best to sleep with your baby at night, but just a quick nap would be to lay with the baby, have them latch on, and they'll unlatch on by themselves. And mommies will always kind of be alert, so you'll always be aware of what's going on with your baby. I forgot to say one more thing. So when you're first starting to nurse and breastfeed, the most important thing is actually having the baby latch on properly. This is where a lactation consultant comes in full speed, because there's a lot of mothers that have cracked nipples and bloody areolas, and it's very uncomfortable and it's very painful. But having the proper latch definitely helps. I'm not gonna lie, the first, I believe, 3 to 4 weeks I wanted to give up. It was extremely painful. He had a proper latch, but you still have to realize your body has never done anything like that before, so it's also getting used to it. So you have to get used to it. But I'm telling you, once you go through that phase, it's smooth sailing. Like right now, sometimes I can barely feel him eating. Like it's not painful at all. Before, I had to use a lot of nipple cream or nipple balm that also alleviates the pain. You can also use your actual breast milk to massage around it and to moisturize it as well. But that's one of the most important things, having a proper latch, because without that, you want to make sure it's fixed before the baby gets a little older, continue being painful for you. And with the proper latch, they're able to get fuller quickly because they're getting the proper amount of milk. Number 4, so if you do plan to pump, my recommendation, no, I'm not a healthcare provider, I'm not a lactation consultant. There is worry of nipple confusion in the beginning, but I would suggest that you pump as soon as you're able to. If you plan on working after a couple months, I would recommend that you do start pumping and giving the bottle to the baby, obviously transitioning from breast to bottle and going from one to another, because right now Isaiah is 7.5 months. He refuses to take a bottle. Refuses. I don't know if I'm having trouble with it because he sees breast and he prefers to breastfeed than bottle feed, but it can be difficult. I'm unable to do things. Thank God I'm a stay-at-home mother, because if not, I know my baby will be home crying because he wants to be breastfed. So to all my new mothers that are planning on breastfeeding and working, or like to take a day off from breastfeeding, I suggest you start pumping pretty soon, maybe right when you get home from the hospital, and at least giving the baby a bottle 1 to 2 times a day. But don't give up the process, honestly. So someone is a little tired. So these are just some breastfeeding tips that I have for first-time mothers or mothers that are breastfeeding for the first time with their new baby. Thank you so much for taking the time out to watch this video. And once again, please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment. And let me know what you guys want, what else you guys want to see. If there's any more breastfeeding things that you like to be informed about, or anything when it comes to motherhood and being a stay-at-home mom. And don't forget to press that push notification button. Thank you for tuning in to Life with B. Bye.